Chapter 12 is about reading scales, so scales on the side of a jug as you pour water or milk in, or for example a thermometer scale, a temperature scale, reading in degrees C or degrees F, or measuring the speedometer scale in a car, or kitchen scales for weighing out butter and flour to make, I don't know, pastry or something. It's all about practical things like that. But I know you're good at reading scales. I'm not going to bother with that. It only goes up to grade F maximum. So what is more important is dealing with converting from one metric unit to another. A lot of these you probably know, but I'm going to write them out for you anyway. So I'm looking at page 193 and just recording what I've got there. Right, in terms of distances now, you should know that 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. Is that all right? You should know that 1 meter is going to be 100 centimeters. You should know that 1 centimeter is going to be 10 millimeters, and so therefore if you've got a meter and you want it all in millimeters, just go 100 times 10. That'll give you 1,000 millimeters, for example. So I'll leave that one alone. Now, mass, the amount of a substance present. So for example, we're talking about kilograms, aren't we? So here we go. 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. Same routine really. 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. In the same way that 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters, 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams, and that'll do with that one. Here's a real beaut. Did you know that 1 ton, I'll spell it for you, is 1,000 kilograms? Okay, the symbol for ton is like 1 little t, equals 1,000 kg. Alright, and now capacity, I'll write it up here because it's clearer. Capacity means how much can you get inside your cup or glass or jug. It's the internal volume, it's the amount of space that's available to you to fill up with liquids or some other powder which can easily fill all the space in an open container. You may know this to be true. Did you know that 1 litre is 1,000 milliliters? Did you know that a litre is 100 centiliters? In the same way that if you have 1 meter, you have 100 centimeters. Is that fair enough? So therefore 1 centiliter is going to be 10 milliliters. I'm sure you used to these units in science where you're reading in a small beaker the number of milliliters of water or acid you've got up there, and that's it. 1 litre is also 1,000 centimeters cubed, so a centimeter cube is equivalent to a milliliter. Alright, and that's it. They're all the key measurements. Now the next thing is to actually apply them to solving questions, and this is where I'm jumping into 12.2 proper and taking some of these questions and doing them. I'm looking at question 8a only. I'll probably focus mostly on that one, and here we go. I've got here 2 kilometers equals 2,000 what? Well, 2,000 meters. Next one down, I've got 20 centimeters equals 200 what? Well, that's millimeters, because there's 10 millimeters for every centimeter. I've got next 30 millimeters equals 3 what? Well, that's going to be centimeters, because every centimeter has 10 millimeters. Next one, 400 meters, better, is 0.4 of a kilometer. A bit of a tricky one, that one. You know 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters, so only 400 is going to be 0.4. Essentially what I did was divide by 1,000. Alright, so 400 divided by 1,000, 0.4. Next one, 3t means 3 tons, is going to be 3,000 kilograms. Very heavy. F, I've got 30 centiliters is going to be 300 milliliters, in the same way that 30 centimeters on a ruler, say, is 300 millimeters on a ruler. Next one, I've got 1.5 kilograms is 1,500 grams. What did I do? I multiplied by 1,000, because there's 1,000 grams in a whole kilogram. Next one, 6.2 m, I'm dealing with 8h now, is 6 0.200 watt. Answer, millimeters. There's 1,000 millimeters in a meter. So what I did was just to multiply that by 1,000 in my brain. There you go. Next one, 6.2 meters again. It's going to be 620 centimeters. Every meter is 100 centimeters, as you know, so all I did was just to multiply that by 100. And the last one in question 8 is 1,500 milliliters is 1.5 liters. You know that every litre contains 1,000 milliliters, so 1.5 litres will be 1,500 milliliters. Effectively, I divided by 1,000 in my brain. And that's question 8 done. I'll turn over and do some of these word questions. Question 9 says Jeremy buys a bag of flour and it weighs 2.5 kilograms. It actually has a mass of 2.5 kilograms. Speech to science teaches about the difference between mass and weight. He bakes 10 cakes, each of which uses 65 grams of flour. So 10 times 65 is going to give me 650 grams of flour used, let's make that prettier, used to make cakes. Question, how much flour does he have left? Well, I can't subtract grams from 2.5 kilograms, I'll go into minus numbers. So if we change this part into kilograms, we can go 0.65. What I did was just to divide by 1,000. I went doing, 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 point. Now I can take away from 2.5 and get my flour that's left in the bag. I will use my machine because I'm allowed to do that. So 2.5 take away 0.65 leaves me with 1.85 kilograms still left in my bag. Alright, so that's that. That's question 8. Let's just jump over to question, sorry, that's question 8, that's question 9, this is question 10. So put a line there like that. Question 10, Tom walks 950 meters to school every morning. He walks the same distance home every afternoon. In other words, he goes and comes back, so just multiply that by 2. How many kilometers does Tom walk in 1 week? Alright, so do that times 2. And if he's a week, then we're talking about going to school 5 days a week. So that's going to school times 2 includes coming back times 5 to do it in a week. So I've got 950 times 10, and that gives us 9,500 meters. If I now divide that by 1,000, he's going to be walking 9.5 kilometers for the school week. Alright. Do I need to do any more, I wonder? Probably not, I've done enough of those, and so we'll stop that. And that's effectively your metric conversions from, as you can see, it's based upon tens, thousands, hundreds, and it's really, really easy. So just learn the rules that I gave you. I'll flip back a couple of pages or so. If you learn those, that'll be brilliant. They're also in the book as well, and a few others, no doubt. But then you learn to apply it. That's question 8. And then a couple of word problems, again just using the same knowledge but in a context of a story.